This is a story of 3 men who podcast, not to podcast, but to prove something to the world. They will sacrifice anything to achieve their goals, except their honor.
The Soul of Detroit
has received unanimous critical acclaim. Majestic, masterful, triumphant, and joyful, says the Los Angeles Times.
You asked her to ride your questions out of my face. It's gone.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on.
That is not paid for by them. That is paid for by the people of Detroit.
You might be qualified, ML.
I'm not qualified for this job.
Let me tell you something. You want to go right now? Okay? You want to go right now?
Bonjour, enfant, c'est ton vieux ami, ML Elric, which is French for, hey kids, it's your old pal, ML Elric. We have an Olympic-themed intro because we thought we'd talk to some people who are at the Olympics. So we reached out to Devin Scillian.
We know 3 people over there.
To Dave Birkett.
Yep.
To Dan Wetzel, who are in Paris. And we kind of didn't count on, if you were in Paris, why would you talk to 3 mopes in a basement in Ferndale? So we're not going to talk about the Olympics.
Sick of talking to French people, right?
I like the French. I always had good relations.
I didn't
with
say
the French.
you didn't like them. I said those people, maybe they're sick of talking to French people. Although they're probably just talking to American athletes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, talking to American athletes could probably turn you off depending on how full of themselves they are, if they're some of the big
negative
shots. But
did you guys see the dish at the last, or the dig at the Last Supper?
we were just talking about that, Sean. Risking excommunication with every word.
I'm dying to know. Were you not paying attention before the show when we were talking about it, or is this just your way of bringing it up?
I'm just curious. I know I want to hear it for the record.
Oh, okay. Well, what's your take on it?
Oh, the folks that are upset sort of misunderstood. Maybe didn't misunderstand, but they didn't know that it was a depiction of a different scene. It had nothing to do with Da Vinci's Last Supper. No,
I think the whole thing's so overblown, and people sometimes will clutch pearls to maybe grift a little bit, get some followers online or whatever. I just find it hard to believe you're that upset about an opening ceremony.
The Pale Horse Rider, was that another one?
I don't know that controversy. Is that a controversy?
Yeah, I saw that in a few of the same circles.
What can you explain that one?
No, I don't remember the details. It had to do with a biblical reference, and they thought they were mocking it.
I thought the reference to Assassin's Creed, the video game, was pretty cool in the very beginning.
Did you think they were mocking it or no?
No, I didn't. It's the opening ceremonies. Who cares? No, I didn't. I don't know. I don't get that upset about.
It's just funny
depictions about
things. Funny that everything is politicized, right? We'll talk about that later in the show when we get to the Lions stuff, But it's just interesting, your Olympic references, and a lot of folks think right off the bat, okay, no, that's woke. I'm not going to watch it.
But that's what I mean about it being somewhat of a grift, I think, is because people are just looking for something to use to be outraged about.
Maybe they are. By the way, sorry that you and I are talking and Mike is not.
I know, he's so bummed out. Look at him.
I was just waiting to introduce our special guest here, Brian Robillard of the Common Scolds, who is going to be doing a charity gig at the Magic Bag on Friday, August 2nd, so he's going to tell us about that. And this is a gig that the first year they did it, Derek Kevra was here on the show because he and I were the MCs, and we'll recap that a little bit, but Brian's going to tell us why they're dedicating a Friday night to try and
is this a magic
cure
show?
A new disease.
No, it's not a magic show.
It's at the Magic Bag.
It's at the Magic Bag,
okay,
yeah.
My bad.
I mean, my guitar playing is probably helped by magic, but thanks for having me on. This is our 3rd year doing it at the Magic Bag. As ML said, he was a co-host the first year. This year's charity is the Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation.
They cured those other diseases, so they're moving on.
We did.
By the way, can we ask what kind of co-host he was? How'd he do?
ML, can I share a little anecdote that was my favorite part of the night?
If it involves upsetting Mike Morse, go ahead.
No, not that one.
Oh, well, now we got 2 anecdotes.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So Derek and ML, the good gentlemen that they are, set up their own charity. They put out some pictures, one with the Block M and one with the Spartan helmet.
Oh, that's right.
And it was cash donations, and whoever's came up short had to sing the other's fight song on stage. So
Was this Mark's idea? Didn't you pitch this, Mark?
I don't know. I'm not going to take credit for it, but I don't think you ever want to get in a challenge with Michigan people donating money. They tend to do very well.
Oh, yeah, usually the players. Ed Martin was there.
And ML came up short, so I got to see him sing the victors on stage. He did
That
very
is
well.
awesome.
I don't think he was sarcastic. I think he, as an upstanding, fine gentleman that he is, he held up his end of the bargain, and that will always be stuck in my head. That was great.
Yeah, I did it at about the same tempo that Mike Ditka did, take me out to the ball game at the Cubs, if you ever remember that several years ago, where he got there late, and he's like, hey, 1, 2, 3, take me out of the ball game, take me out of the crowd. Yeah! It was like Howard Dean meets
that's
Mike
against
Ditka.
the spirit of why you were doing it. I'm just saying. I like that.
is-
I like
it
that
is
you knew all
savor.
you knew all the lyrics, huh?
Yeah, it was Hail to the Victors, Valiant Hail
Here
to
comes
the
a lame joke.
Victors. Hail to the Victors.
Here comes a Mozzie,
by the
here comes
way,
a Mozzie
Brian-
Smith
No, I'm
joke.
I'm trying to
trying to
remember.
think of a Mozzie Smith joke.
I
Brian,
did
can
know
you
it at
help,
one time because I grew up in the Don Canham era, where the University of Michigan was shoved down your throat no matter where you lived. But before we get to Don Canham,
No, it wasn't shoved down your throat. By the way, Brian, can you help us out? Is it ML?
Thank you for taking
settle a debate. Is it ML or is it Mike?
I've only known him as ML.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
and I've only known great opportunities for you to do business with people that are trusted sponsors of this show, like Dr. Yaldo, who can help you see better than 2020. We'll tell you how to do that a little later on. Luke Nowacki of Pinnacle Wealth Strategies, who will help you plan for a future where you can be comfortable and confident. And who wants less than that? Nobody. Everybody wants to retire knowing that they're in good stead. Come Play Detroit. We'll tell you how to use a promo code to get a discount so you can come play softball against me at Belle Isle or volleyball at the Detroit Fieldhouse. Michigan Peddler, you can save $40 on a ride, 15-person pedal pub. See the sights downtown, Corktown, you name it. We'll tell you how to get that promo code a little bit later in the show. And we especially want to thank our Patreon supporters. We have 3 new Patreon supporters, including a longtime friend and supporter of the show. So we will be telling you a little bit about that later and how you can get involved to help keep this show going by making as little as $5 a month donation. You get to watch the show, you get the show before anybody else does, and you can avoid some of those annoying insertion ads that play before, during, and after the show. It's the best way to get access to the show, and it's only $5 a month. Most importantly, it keeps us going. So thank you to all of you guys. Shawn, you had some diversion that you thought was important and no one else will agree. I want you to get back to that as quickly as possible.
What about your name?
Oh, that was it? Okay.
What was the diversion?
We need a bell for that.
No, what was the diversion?
I know you said before we go, I guess you did ask your question. It was so inconsequential.
Yeah,
we resolved.
Is it ML? Is it Mike? Is it Michael? Is it Elrickian?
It doesn't really matter to me, especially if you're a Patreon supporter of the show for just $5 a month. And to those of you, by the way, who ordered some of our merchandise, the online shop is closed. Those products will be shipping in 2, maybe 3 weeks at the most. Thank you very much. That's a great way to support the show and look great. You may have noticed some of our social media posts with Erica Erickson sporting a classic Soul of Detroit t-shirt. We hope to have Erica back on again soon.
Wait, we've been around long enough to have something called classic?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Sure.
there's
It's been a long
something.
time.
How long have we been around?
Well, you tell me. How long do you think it's been?
4 or 5 months?
Come on.
No? Wow. Longer?
Good to know that RFK is not the only one that had a worm eat part of his brain.
What's your middle initial?
P.
P. I think SP Windsor sounds pretty good.
Pusillanimous.
SP Windsor.
Yeah, start using that on your byline. Sounds very pompous.
Pusillanimous. It does sound pompous. That's
why
why
you
I say,
should use
that's
it.
why I say Mike.
SP Windsor reporting from Lions Camp.
Yeah, actually, they're going to change his first name to Frequent because he's a frequent peer. So
that was
he
bad.
may even make it all the way to room 7609.
Aren't we all when we get to a certain age?
Nice bragging on his ailment.
I mean, who
So
sleeps
rude.
through the night after they're 40?
Some of us have robust urethras.
That's
Nice bragging about
didn't really know it was about the urethra. I thought it was.
Well, I thought after the opening ceremonies where people were going down the Seine, which is the main river in France, it just sort of, it was, it's time to get with the flow.
Oh, for crying out loud.
No? Okay. Anyway.
It did rain that night, didn't it? Opening night?
Yeah. Yeah, it poured. Mm-hmm.
And the Swedes were the ones that came prepared in actual real rain jackets. Everybody else was in
this
the
is
little
totally news to me.
plastic
I know you have
ponchos.
Swedish connections with your nude friends.
Not real. What nude friends?
The ones you hung out with last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, last week you said you were eating egg salad naked with some Swedes on a cruise ship.
That's what I heard.
What? I don't remember that.
Yeah, one of them joined the NRA on the spot after he heard your views on the Second Amendment.
Oh, you're talking about the Swedes that were out at the lake.
What's wrong with you
They
today?
They weren't naked.
What is wrong with you?
The egg salad. They weren't naked.
Is Lions Camp just zapping all your energy
Oh God, it's been
in memory?
I've been just 5-6 days now. Yeah, you get there. Yeah. Anyway, no, we'll talk about that later.
So let's get to the other anecdote from Lollapalooza. This is going to be on Friday, August 2nd at the Magic Bag. It features the 3148s, which is some sort of legal term. Brian, do you know the genesis of this obscure band name?
Yes, it's a part of the Michigan no-fault statute. Most of the lawyers that are in these bands practice in the car accident field, plaintiff side and defense side, and it's the interest and penalty statute. And I believe, and just shout out to Greg Jones, who's Derek's brother-in-law, who does a yeoman's work getting this set up. I believe it was so loud you can get penalized, something like that. I screwed up their motto. That's what it used to be.
Okay.
So that's where that came from.
So the band is better than their name. I'll just tell you that. They're more accessible than their moniker. The Common Scolds, featuring Greg on guitar, will be there. Cameron Ghetto, who I went to high school with, will be doing some acoustic stylings. And then once again, strongman Don Cummings will be there. This guy bends bars, which is pretty wild. He really does do this. It is one of those skills where you wonder how it's useful, but if you have any straight bars that you need bent, Don Cummings is your man. He will be there in between the bands. Your host will be Derek Kevra, who is a friend of mine, great weatherman, and he's right 50% of the time, which puts him ahead of the pack, and he will be keeping the show moving. The charity that will be benefiting, or the cause that will benefit from this, is Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation, which is a personal cause for some of the folks.
Yes, it's Derek's mother-in-law, Greg's mother, and also Tom Jones, the drummer for the 3148s, is another brother-in-law of Derek's. And the Jones brothers, their mother has pulmonary fibrosis. So it's personal for them and for all of us who have played with them over the years and have done this event now for the third year. So it's an extra, not that the other two weren't good cause, it's an extra good cause, extra personal, and a little more close to the heart.
So the first year they cured halitosis. The second year they cured, what was the disease the second year?
Was it sister?
Erectile dysfunction,
Yes.
I think it was.
Yes,
Okay.
yep.
So they fixed that. And then and this year they're going to get rid of pulmonary fibrosis. So that's pretty good. The doors open at 7. The show starts at 7:30. Tickets are $20 in advance or $25 at the door. And you can get ticket and donation information at lollapalooza.org. We will have a link to lollapalooza.org on our website, which is mlsoulofdetroit.com. And the year I did it, one of the big benefactors was Mike Morse.
He's actually a platinum sponsor this year.
Platinum sponsor. Wow. That's
What was that anecdote about? And you said you upset him?
Yeah, so he was there, and some of these folks used to work for him. And from the stage, we thanked some of the people who were there. And I said, well, I heard Mike Morse was here earlier, but then an ambulance went by and he ran off. And, of course, at that time, he was running commercials.
That's that's not a bad joke.
No, I mean,
He was upset about it?
That's part of his well, see, that's the thing. That's kind of he's in that sort of business, but then he was running commercials at the time where an ambulance goes by and he runs after it. So I thought it's very topical.
It's a play on the commercial.
So back to Mark's question. Was he upset?
Okay, so we're up on the stage.
You gonna answer or no?
Sean, I know you've only come in third place in a journalism contest. Those of us who have come in first place like to build a little drama.
But
to
those
a story.
that can't see, he's very pleased with himself, Sean.
We
Sean
we
is
try
very
and work
pleased
up
that
to a
he's pissed
crescendo.
off.
So the show goes on. You can't really see people in the audience because there's lights coming up on the stage, and we're hanging out backstage because that's where the bands and the booze is. But afterwards, as everybody's tearing down, I was by the front of the Magic Bag, and if you've ever been there, you know there's a little sort of like lobby and or a vestibule and a bar. And Mike Morse was there, and I went up to him and I said, "Hey, Mike, I'm ML Elric. Just wanted to thank you for being a really good sport." And he shook my hand rather limply, and the look in his face said, "I am not a very good sport." He was clearly upset about something, and I have to believe it was that jibe. But he's helping cure diseases. And of course, if you've watched the commercials, you know two things: fantastic hair, and his mother loves him very much. So Mike, thank you for being a platinum sponsor. Thank you for having a good sense of humor. And will he be there on Friday?
He's been at the first two. I imagine he will be. The only thing about that, ML, is Don Cummings, the strongman, works for Mike. So,
holy shit. You're saying he could bend me in half?
You might want to be careful, yeah.
I guess if you can bend iron, you could probably twist bones, right?
Probably. Don's a nice guy, though, so he might leave you alone.
Boy, if Don were somehow injure me, I mean, if I were to have some sort of personal injury, I wonder who I would call. Anybody who who wins?
Nothing comes to mind.
Wow, platinum sponsor, you can't even get a free plug. It's a tough gig there at Lollapalooza. But Brian, tell us very briefly what you guys play.
We're an all cover band. I mean, over the years, we've been together since 2013. Over the years, we've played some originals written by our other guitarist, formerly our drummer Steve Bellarian. But it's been mostly covers.
He's sort of a reverse Dave Grohl. He went from guitar to drums.
Right.
Grohl went from but he's better than Grohl, right?
Oh, for sure. In all aspects. Wow. So we play anything from the Beatles to the Foo Fighters. Speaking of Dave Grohl, and anything in between. We've played over the years. This set list is going to have Dire Straits, Violent Femmes, Pat Benatar.
No Smiths though.
No Smiths. We leave that to our mutual friend Max Prokop. We leave that to his band, the Smiths United.
Who are playing on Saturday, August 3rd at the Caju Cafe. So if you want to come to the east side, hit the Caju on Saturday and see the Smiths Unit. I should be there if I've recovered from Lollapalooza.
And Brian, you told me, so you play guitar, right?
Yes.
But you told me that you get to sing Werewolves in London. So is that the only one you sing?
That's kind of my signature. Over the years, I used to sing Mary Jane's Last Dance.
All right. Do you force both of those into the set list so you can sing?
I've actually told the band that if they're tired of playing Werewolves, I could let it go. But everybody loves it, so not me. They love the song.
You don't do Lawyers, Guns, and Money? What a perfect fit!
The 3148 used to do that, so now I think we're banned. We can't do it if they've done it.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of rock star are you, though? You should want your songs. I want my songs played. I'm going to sing them. I want them at the end of the set list.
Boy, Mark, have you ever been in a band?
No.
Because that sounds a lot like every practice that we have.
There you go. So you should force it.
No, I'm not really comfortable with my singing voice. I think everybody hates their voice. I'm much more comfortable with my guitar playing than my singing, and I'm not real great at singing and playing at the same time. So,
did you notice, Mark, how I let that one slide?
What?
Everybody hates their voice. Not that guy over there.
Well, you seem to like the sound of yours. You keep butting in.
We're just
I know, but he's got a pretty good hitting percentage today. You got to
we're just trying to have fun, Brian. At Mike's expense. Sorry.
Damn.
As long as it's not at mine, I'm cool with that.
He gets so affected by it.
Oh man, Brian's sitting across from Shawn, so he's like, "Your breath is so bad, I miss your farts."
No, that was bad. That's bad.
So
you have a better hit batting percentage today, Shawn.
Yeah, Shawn's the Don Kelly of the crew. He's at 242 and headed to Arlington. But he's actually just come from Allen Park, where he had a speaking of grift, wasn't that Dan Campbell's big thing?
Grit.
Oh.
Grit.
Why do you hate the Lions so much?
Why does he hate the Lions? By the way, you guys are witnesses.
He's getting warmed up when he starts to rub the top of the microphone. If you're watching, that's a tell. That's right. He's like, here I go. It's like he's turning up the volume. Get ready.
Did he actually say he had a robust urethra? Did that come out of his mouth?
Yeah,
I did hear that.
Okay.
So let me just say,
what is that?
Let me just say, I did say it technically, but I was actually reading it from my medical chart.
For God's sake.
So they weren't my words. I was just conveying them.
Okay, that's funny.
tell us about Allen Park and what's going on.
I thought you could tell us about your urethra. I'm like, let's get to the Lions.
Allen Park is next to Dearborn and
the Lions.
Wind up.
There goes his batting average. He turned into Javier Baez pre-weekend's flirt.
I don't remember.
Every time I read about the Lions
west?
lately, it seems to be that, hey, this person's here, this person's here. There's like this revolving group of people that have been by training camp.
Oh, people want to be.
Is that
Steve
strictly?
Eiserman was there today. Everybody.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan was
there.
There
was an incident with Hulk Hogan, wasn't there?
Nah, not really. Oh. Yeah, Hulk Hogan was there the same day. Clarissa Shields, the two-time defending, right, gold medal Olympic boxer from Flint, who had her belt over her shoulder, her title belts. I don't know that Hulk Hogan brought his.
And she won hers in an unscripted bout, unlike Thunderlips.
Hers is Thunderlips. You know what? When I Hulk Hogan was, we were all standing there next to.
How tall is Hulk Hogan, by the way?
He's my height. I don't know. Maybe he's a little taller, 6'3", maybe.
Okay.
Wait, Hulk? I thought he was like 6'7".
Well, your spine compresses as you get older too,
okay.
right?
So he's 6'5".
Sean's just trying to pass himself off as 6'6".
I just stood next to him and I was looking kind of eye to eye at him, more or less.
Do you think you could take him?
Did he? Yeah. Did he blink?
Oh, he's still got the juice in there. You can see. You know what I mean?
Probably had the juice. That's how he got that big.
You know what's funny though is not funny, but it was. Yeah, first of all, so we're standing there. We're on the practice field, and reporters during training camp for the Lions, you stand just a couple of yards off the actual sideline of the field. There's several fields there, but anyway, and all of a sudden somebody says, "Wait a second, is that Hulk Hogan coming around down near the end zone?" And it was just, okay, that's kind of odd. What is Hulk Hogan doing here?
Probably looking for a new T-shirt.
Because you notice him, right? I mean, and that's the thing. When I was standing up,
God,
we were talking to him, standing
joke.
up next to him. I was thinking, man, to be, because he's really manicured, to be that manicured and to have to fuss that much over your appearance every day of your adult life. I thought, oh, that's.
What do you mean by?
Are you kidding me?
His goatee.
Fu Manchu, by the way. It's not a goatee.
He'd hired a landscaping contractor, right? It was unbelievable how precise it was. All the hair, not a single whisker out of place. The hair, the bandana was perfectly. Yeah, no, it was.
What's his look?
It is his look. It's like Guy Fieri has. I mean, how much time does that take?
Oh, God.
But do you think these wrestlers don't love looking at themselves? The gym is covered in mirrors, and once they get themselves ripped, then they cover themselves in oil, and then they become wrestlers, and they start wearing feathers and all kinds of crazy shit.
No, for sure.
These guys love
one of the
this.
best profile feature stories I ever read was about a bodybuilder named Steve Michalak, and it was all up. Do you remember him? He was maybe back in Schwarzenegger's era.
Old Mick?
Yeah, he was a world champ, I think, at some point. But anyway, it was all about how much a lot of it was about how much he loved to look in the mirror, and sometimes he was so roided out. If anybody looked at him when he was working out in the gym, he would fight him or haul off and hit him because he thought if they looked at him, they were stealing his essence. And I was actually thinking about that when I was next to Hulk Hogan, wondering if he had ever had those narcissistic kind of weird battles.
Wait. So Hulk Hogan, who is screwing anybody he can screw, who covers himself in all, you don't think he has narcissistic moments?
No,
why don't you ask Bubba the Love Sponge how narcissistic
Well, how
he
about
is?
this? He did tell us when we're like, why are you here? And somebody asked him about the RNC convention and speaking in Milwaukee. And he did say, I just want to bring everybody together. That's why I've started a beer company.
Yeah, and which was a response to the whole Bud Light controversies when he started it, right?
Yeah, he wants to start a beer company, bringing everybody together. My take was he's sort of lost his way culturally a little bit. He's not quite as relevant as it happens to all of us. We age out,
here's what
so he went to Milwaukee to get his name back out there to help sell beer.
Well, I mean, he's got ties to a lot of the players. Remember, Peter Thiel paid for his whole litigation against Deadspin when in Gawker and the release of the sex tape. So he's tied with Peter Thiel, who, one of his venture capitalists that worked for him was J.D. Vance. So I mean, they're all kind of tied together and they know each other. Which
they oil each other up.
But this is what I wanted to ask you. That was it was 2 weeks ago. The RNC.
No?
I know I heard your joke. It was terrible.
Cat lady.
Are you done?
I'm sorry. It is my name on the show. I just thought
But what I wanted to ask, so
something.
how did the players react? Because I bet you nobody thinks about that he was just at the RNC or that he had a sex tape, or that he used the N-word and got kicked out of the WWE.
Players didn't. They really had very little to do with him. It was interesting.
Really?
More of them were interested in Clarissa Shields.
Why was he there? Did he say what
Because Dan Campbell's a wrestling guy.
Oh, is he? Okay.
And has always loved wrestling. And Hulk Hogan was joking about how he would have been a great pro wrestler. He might have, actually.
But you really think the players knew Clarissa Shields more than Hulk Hogan?
Well, she's been in the, it depends on.
I find that really hard to believe.
I think Hulk Hogan is a creation of the 80s and the 90s. I mean, he's kind of old now. He's not as prominent as he once was.
He's
Most
not.
of the players are black. He's kind of a white icon.
Yeah, but a lot of them like wrestling. He's so well known.
No, it was interesting. It was interesting though because Hogan wanted to take a photo at one point with Clarissa Shields, and her people were not comfortable with that. So that was it. Just gets you to thinking about this is where we are.
Why do you
as a
think that
society.
was, Sean? Did they say?
No. But I don't know
What's your read on it?
That he went crazy in Milwaukee a couple of weeks ago. Plus, he got booted from the Wrestling Federation because a tape got out of him using the N-word. Yeah, and I don't know. Her people were older than she was, so they were probably familiar with it.
Did she want to take the picture?
That I don't know.
So, Sean, you see these, I mean, we see wrestlers and other people, they're very performative. You had some extended exposure to Hulk Hogan. What was his tone? I mean, he was always like, "I'm here for life. We got grit." Or was he soft spoken?
No, he was pretty soft spoken.
Sean, I see that look on your face. I'm going to tear that sweatshirt off, and because of my hero. No.
Yeah, no, he was pretty soft spoken and friendly. He's clearly been in front of cameras for
always.
Yeah, and around
Reality
people.
show, too.
He's used to being kind of on, as you would say. No, he was fine. It was interesting because he clearly, you could tell he'd taken some backlash from screaming on stage in Milwaukee or whatever. Performing, I guess, is a better, more fair way to say it. You could tell he'd take.
You talk about him.
Felt some blowback to that, but
you talk about him, Elric, being this product from the 80s, which he was, but he was in WWE for a long time. He's still all over the video game to this day, even though he was kicked out of the WWE.
Oh, yeah, no, he's one of those
reality shows. I mean, he hasn't really gone away. Is his star as big?
Videos.
Well, sure, but is his star as big as it was 25 years ago? No, but I would think those players would still know who he is because they play video games and they would want to talk to him.
I'm sure some of them
might
might
think about the political aspect.
But we're so fraught these days. It was interesting.
Football players?
No, this is no a lot of no. What do you mean? What, they don't have opinions? They don't.
No,
feel,
I think they have a lot of opinions, but
That's just where we are.
They wouldn't have a problem with Hulk Hogan.
I don't know. As soon as I was around probably 30 people, so more or less on the sideline, and as soon as it started, the murmurs started, "Oh my God, that's Hulk Hogan over there." I heard one comment after another. God, I wish this were 3 weeks ago. I would have walked up and shaken his hand. That's just where we are. For better and for
the
worse.
players said that?
No, these were just people on. Some of them were media. Some of them were maybe folks that work for the Lions. It was really muted, and people were disappointed because clearly a lot of the people that I was around grew up really, really loving Hogan as just this pop culture icon.
So people,
and I thought that was interesting.
People's opinions were turned 180 degrees strictly because he made an appearance at the Republican National Convention.
I started getting texts 15 minutes after he was there because it started to get out saying, "I don't want him associated with my team," from fans that I know in my family and so on. It was kind of.
I think that's ridiculous.
Well, it may be, but it's just a product of. I mean, it's just a sign of where we're at.
What do they think? Maybe, and I don't know what his politics are, but would it surprise you if Dan Campbell was a Republican?
Not at all.
No. So, who cares? They're allowed to have their opinions.
Of course they are.
I don't know. But maybe it's easier to take it out on Hulk because he's just showing up.
It didn't used to be this way, right? If Republican, it didn't matter. It's because of Trump. It's not that I'm blaming Trump per se. It's his presence that's made us on both sides.
Can we start looking past all of that? Can we start looking past all
I don't ever remember that
stuff?
under Bush. If a Republican came to a sporting event, in the early 2000s or whatever, I don't remember anybody reacting like that, saying, "Oh my God, I don't want to be associated with him." You're just like, "Oh, that's cool," or "Yeah, we disagree, but whatever." We still sort of more or less agree on the same larger principles. We just, right, kinda.
Well, yeah.
It's just
That's
changed.
That's what's dumb about, making a stance on it like that.
It's just,
in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I was not that surprised at the reaction, but also it was just, I don't know. It was just weird that Hulk Hogan came strolling up the practice field.
I would have thought the players would have been all about getting a picture with him and hanging out with him.
I mean, yeah, if that were LeBron.
Well, he's holding the flag in Paris with Dan Wetzel.
What about Aiden Hutchinson? Did Aiden go up to him? Or Taylor Decker?
Taylor Lewan?
No players went up to him?
I didn't see any.
Wow.
Interesting. I guess I think of the NBA as more politically oriented than the NFL. I don't know why. Maybe it's because some of the coaches have been more outspoken, like Steve Kerr and Popovich.
Yeah,
and
some of the players.
And
too.
LeBron talked about China. Remember all the trouble he got in when he talked about China? All of a sudden, like, hey, shit, we got a lot of TV. We got 1 billion fans. You just pissed off King James. He's like, okay, China's cool.
It's interesting. I'm curious what you guys think of it. Last night, my youngest son came over and we were having dinner, watched a little bit of the swimming in the Olympics.
You forgot his name?
Yeah, no. We were talking about
you Charlie Chan. You got number 1 son, number 2 son.
We were talking about the torch bearers and the flag carriers for each country, and then the torch who got to carry the torch. And my wife said something about, God, do you remember when Muhammad Ali?
Almost lit Atlanta on fire
in Atlanta, and just how emotional that was for so many people. And my son said, I want an athlete. Our generation, we want somebody like that. We don't have anybody like that. And he said it might have been LeBron, but then he got into trouble with the China stuff.
Yeah, no, he
undermined all of his other arguments, right? So,
yeah,
is there anybody out there?
He knuckled under fast.
Sam is saying our generation deserves an icon. And he's like, you guys had a bunch of them: Ali, Bill Russell, Kareem, Jim Brown.
That was before us.
No, it was.
Yeah,
I know he's lumping us all together. Yeah. But
how about Bryson DeChambeau? Would that athlete work for him?
What about Greg Norman getting on his knees for the Saudis? He's politically oriented. He's like, yeah, sorry they cut that journalist's head off, but anyways, we like to play golf, mate, and try my wine.
What's wrong with Bryson, Sean?
Yeah, that's funny. No, but seriously.
but that's how it works, though. Why does it have to be that one side?
Because they're not really fighting the man,
so
are they?
Tiger Woods is another guy who could have been a big leader. And when he was asked to identify as sort of a black athlete, he's like, no, I'm Cablinasian. I mean, these huge transcendent people, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tiger Woods, they don't want to get involved in politics. It's bad for business.
I think Tiger knows he would have been attacked because I think Tiger's always probably leaned right.
Perhaps. I mean, he's a golfer, right? So you figure he's worried about his tax bracket. But
Jordan, what was Jordan's famous line?
Republicans buy sneakers too.
Yeah. I mean, and it's unfair for us to expect the black athletes to be the cultural leaders or to speak out on politics. But frankly, I can't think of that many white athletes who have the stature of a Jordan, of a James, of a Woods. I mean, Mike Trout?
Tom Brady. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Yes, Tom Brady would be. And he came out for Trump and immediately regretted it. People stopped buying those expensive mattresses.
He had a MAGA hat. He had a MAGA hat in his locker.
And then had to hide it.
Yeah.
Which I find that just, I mean, I don't agree with them, Eileen, but I'm surprised that people would be that reactive to it. I just think that's sad.
And nobody, again, would have been reactive if that said Bush.
Oh, yeah, they would
Bush,
have.
Who was his VP?
Dick Cheney.
Bush Cheney. It's not the same gut reaction.
I think there might have been, depending on what period in the Bush
maybe so, but
administration.
Nothing.
But yeah, Tom Brady. I take it back. Tom Brady is a transcendent athlete. He could be a major influence on people if he was politically oriented.
Don't you all think it's because there's just so much more money at stake now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Well, for the athletes.
Yeah, for the athletes. I mean,
100%.
Yeah. No,
we're talking about some of them are now billionaires.
Yeah, and they're not just always athletes anymore. A lot of times they're brands. So they want to sell everything to everybody, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah. So Sean, what else happened out there? Did you get to? I understand you got to meet Dan Campbell.
Well, we've kind of been
that you had not interacted with him before.
We really had never talked one-on-one for any period of time. It's just how it is. You're in a scrum. And football's really regimented. The schedule. You said hi, but and we know we know each other. I mean, obviously I know him, but he knows who I am and uses my name in press conference. But that's not the same. So today he was walking off, and we were kind of waiting for players, and he and his wife walked nearby, and I said, I'm going to tell him that I played high school football and grew up 20 minutes from where he did in another little town out in Texas outside Fort Worth. And that was kind of fun, saying, hey, I played football not nearly as well as you, but in Aledo in Texas, and he played at Glenrose, I think, same conference. And he's like, oh, my God, no way. I can't believe you didn't tell me this. And I feel like I have a kindred spirit now. So that was kind of fun. He's a real Texan. I'm only a.
And didn't he say he loved you as George Costanza?
Yeah, he was looking down on my bald dome.
When he first saw you, he said, Jason Alexander. And you're like, no.
Yeah. That's what he said.
You're going to get the first question, though, at a lot of pressers now.
No. I don't need that. I just.
Why not?
I'm more like Homer Simpson, just kind of receding into the bushes.
Did Campbell ask you if you would share your insights
and I said, no,
as generously as you do with Tom Izzo?
I said, Mike is.
Did he say, can you help me?
I said, Mike is not that bad. He's really not. So he said, I listened to the podcast, Mark. And I said,
right.
I think he probably said, who's this Mike fellow? I love ML's work, but
is
there somebody else on the show?
Are there more visitors this year than last year because of their success?
The number of fans is the same. They did change the seating.
Celebs.
There's roof. The atmosphere is kind of fun. Steve Eiserman was there today. Chris Draper was there today. I'm sure there will be. Sheila got the chant today. The crowd has been crazy.
The players must love the players must love it, because I could see some old schoolers being like, "This is a distraction having Hulk Hogan and Eisman and all these people come by." But I would think it adds a little bit of excitement, and the players dig that, do they?
And Damakong Su wouldn't love it. He's like, all these guys blocking my way as I'm driving to practice. I got to run them off the road. Who are these sons of bitches?
They're so negative.
No, it's just part of it. I mean, they experienced that a little bit last year, right? Eminem was at the games.
Sure, yeah.
Shawn, how do people go? Do you have to get tickets? Is there a lottery so you can go watch these?
Yeah, there is, and they're sold out.
They're sold. Oh, so they do charge to go to these.
That's a good question. I thought they were free, but
I wonder if they do something for season ticket holders.
They do. They have and they have VIP. They start off with friends and family, and then there's VIP, and because the first couple of days of practice, there's nobody, just the team and the players. And then they kind of ramp it up. But it's crazy the way there were guys yelling out from the stands today, I have a man crush on you, Dan Campbell, and other people, so do I, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It was just, they're yelling all this. It's just.
That was Carlos yelling.
Chanting Sheila Hamp, chanting her name when she walked by. It was just, they're into it.
Well, it's so weird because yesterday was the 25th anniversary of Barry leaving and walking away, and it's like that's a distant memory because of how successful they were last year. I mean, that's like a story every year.
Sure it is. Have you looked forward to camp more, or this season more than? When's the last time you looked forward to the Lions season as much as this one?
Oh, I mean,
last year I
always do, but without a doubt this year, right? I mean, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
What about you, Brian? Are you a football guy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Can you feel it?
Oh, for sure. I just the celebrities, just seeing them out there, like you mentioned,
it amps it up
for sure, and all the attention. I know I went to the Metallica shows at Ford Field in November, and they had a connection with Dan Campbell because of No Leaf Clover, and as part of what they put on their Twitter account was James went to Dan's office, but they were in San Diego, but he knocked on the door and said, "Sorry you're not here, Coach. We missed you." So even having that kind of high profile artist connected with you.
Yeah.
Even though, Metallica's from San Francisco, they're not, Lions fans necessarily, but they had that connection because of Hard Knocks. Yeah. And so.
But just your fandom, your Lions fandom, have you felt this kind of buzz? And
for sure. I never was one of those guys that said I was Lions free, but I did stop watching. I'd always check the score. I stopped putting the time aside to watch them like I used to. And it still killed me when they lost, but I got to the point where I expected them to lose, I think, like most people. And then last year just brought it all back. I mean,
did you watch?
Oh, every game. Went to bars to watch them hang out with buddies like I did. When Mark and I were, in high school and college, they made the playoffs 6 out of 10 times. Yeah. I mean, they were in it. I mean, they always got killed.
Good. That was the Big Buck era, right?
That's right.
Wayne Fonts.
Yeah, always been.
Now, is there any truth to the Common Scolds doing the halftime show at Thanksgiving?
I can't. I neither confirm nor deny.
Okay.
Well, they'd be better.
Because I know sometimes you guys go a little long. So we're going to need to get that second half started. Right on time.
My singing will sound better if I have to lip sync.
Oh, okay.
So
all right. Okay. So Common Scolds, get those tickets. If you miss them at Lollapalooza, they may be there at Thanksgiving.
What's crazy is we've talked about all this training camp and not one mention of the team. You know, it's all the circus that surrounds it.
They got a lot of good players.
Well, I'm going to guess Jameson is getting most of the attention.
Might call him for tomorrow because he's been really good.
Is he going to be that good?
Who knows? But he's looked really good.
Oh, don't say who knows. Come on.
I don't know.
Give me a hot take.
No, there's no.
Don't be so
That's
nuanced.
his partner. That's his partner on the Carlos and Shawn podcast. He's the hot take guy.
No. I mean, he has jumped out. He has jumped out.
It's that noticeable.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I don't know. I love it. I'm glad.
But it's not just the playmaking. It's how he carries himself. It's the way he's running his routes. He's starting to look like a professional. He's grown up.
He's not gambling anymore.
He's put a little bit of weight on.
He's betting on himself, Mark.
He's not dropping as many balls. Right.
So,
he just looks a lot more like a professional football player, not just a guy out there with blazing speed.
On behalf of my fellow Lions fanatics, I need to know of the teams who made what I'm going to call the Final Four last year.
You don't get to ask. You stopped watching. Did you know that, Brian?
I started watching, mainly because Teresa hogs the TV.
I didn't know that, no.
Yeah, he boycotted him last year on that run. He would not. Mark kept trying to get him to watch.
I didn't boycott him. I just never watch him. I don't go. But anyways, to get back to the question.
They heard him when he was
depriving yourself of good entertainment.
They've heard a lot of people when they were kids.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
And as you can tell, I'm a big NFL fan using the term Final Four. But have the other three teams that were in the running for the whatever is the championship game?
It's called the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl, yes. Have they gotten better than the Lions, or have the Lions improved more than the teams that?
Well, I'll tell you this much: I don't think Kansas City's gotten worse, and now they got a new speedster, a wide receiver. With
they'll be just. Yeah.
Now, of course, as Lions fans know, we beat Kansas City last year in Kansas City, and I understand there are a lot of Lions fans that kind of took over Arrowhead. Isn't that true? If I recall, being a big Lions fan.
10,000 people there. Yeah.
See, I pay attention to the show.
It was unbelievable.
So you really have no excitement towards the season?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm more excited about the Spartans, and I have very low expectations. So
that's unbelievable.
So no, I don't do the pro football thing.
You don't ever call
pro
yourself
basketball.
a Detroiter.
Why? Because they get paid?
No, just because.
Not call yourself a Detroiter.
I'm the only one here who actually is a Detroiter in this studio.
No, you're not in spirit. Maybe in address, but not in spirit. Not if you don't like the Lions.
Oh, that's the litmus test. I have to like a bunch of guys who roid out and get paid millions of dollars to beat the shit out of each other.
Explain it to him.
What an old stereotype.
Explain it to him, Brian.
Okay, rub the clear on.
Weren't you at Michigan State when Tony Mandrich was there?
I was. In fact, I saw Tony Mandrich on the side. So people may remember that he went into the NFL draft and then took himself out of the draft. And this is in the George Perlis era when they were roided out. He was suspended for the non-conference games, and I was working as a photographer for the college paper that game. Mandrich is walking around on the sidelines wearing a pair of overalls, and I don't think he had a shirt on under the overalls.
He did not.
He wasn't ripped. He looked inflated, sort of like, he didn't have a lot of definition, but tons of bulk. Hair was thin as hell and acne all over the back of his neck. Like, yeah, he's not on roids. I mean, that was the George Perlis era. Those guys were they were juicing big time. But
do you have a problem with that?
I do. I do have a problem with that.
Oh, really?
So, I think he should have been paid to roid out. Is that better? Is that what you wanted to hear?
It's just funny.
He should have been endorsed by the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, why not?
Because he made a lot of money for whoever makes steroids.
Yeah, but you seem to remember this list of things with Michigan, but you never mentioned anything about State because they're perfect.
I just told you a story about Tony Mandrich. No, we did shows on Mel Tucker where I said Mel Tucker is a disgrace to the university and he should not be paid a dime because he clearly violated the terms of his contract.
He's gonna get
I'm
something.
just as hard on Michigan State as I am on Michigan. We just don't have as many dirtbags who go to the Spartans.
He is not a Detroiter if he doesn't like the Lions. And also, he prefers New Wave over Motown, so no.
Oh, wow.
I like them both. You know why?
Why?
The groove.
Oh, that's the first time you mentioned that. I thought that would have come up sooner in this episode.
I'm pacing myself.
You did mention it. Okay, last thing. He did mention it on Twitter.
The groove?
Yeah, he did a few times.
I didn't know that.
Because it would pop up in my notifications.
We have to force ourselves into Shawn's consciousness because
God,
he's in the zone.
You know who else has groove?
I would think probably Dr. Yaldo.
Well, tell me about him.
Well, he's a guy who can make your vision better than 20/20. Mark and I have both had LASIK done, so we enjoy 20/15 vision. You think 20/20 is perfect vision? How about better than perfect? That's 20/15, and we have that vision because of LASIK. And here's a really simple message, and you don't even need to listen if you're happy with your contact lenses, your progressive eyeglasses, or those reading glasses hanging around your neck on a string. I told you a little story about that last week. I don't need to embarrass myself again. Let's just say not cool. But if you've grown tired or annoyed by any of these visual crutches, then consider contacting Dr. Yaldo, the man who will set you free with unencumbered 20/20 vision, or better, for everything up close and further away. For those of you, like those of us in this studio, who are what I would like to say curated gentlemen, well-developed gentlemen, older gentlemen,
Mark and
40
Brian.
or beyond, bifocal lens implants do just that. Bifocal lens implants do just that. Replace your aging lenses to give you stunning vision for life. From the small type on your phone to the computer screen to reading the coach's lips from the last row in the bleachers. I'm looking at you, Stallions. Dr. Yaldo has done more LASIK and lens replacement procedures than anyone in Michigan. The gift of precision vision lasts a lifetime, and it takes minutes and is as painless as any procedure you'll undergo. Get the free evaluation, see what your options are, 1-800-398-EYES or YaldoEyeCenter.com. And maybe your vision's great, but you can't see the future. You don't know what's going to happen with the stock market. Or maybe you're a big-time city official who can travel on the people's dime. Maybe you're a political contributor who gets hooked up with government contracts. Well, good for you, but bad for all the rest of us. Now, if you're not among the swells lining your pockets with taxpayers' money, if you're not someone who actually, or if you're someone who does actually work for a living, welcome to the crowd. Call financial specialist Luke Nowacki at 248-663-4748. We'll discuss strategies to grow your assets, from annuities to individual retirement accounts to college savings. Make that call now. You've got kids and kleptocrats to feed. That's Luke Nowacki, 248-663-4748, because if you call Luke, he'll make it all about you, sweetheart.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc. member FINRA-SIPC.
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc. is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent.
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc.
And if you call Luke or Dr. Yaldo, please let him know that ML told you to make that call. Or tell him Michael or Mike or
Just Elric.
your lordship, whatever. They'll know who you're talking about.
Oh man, the geeks have inherited the earth.
Did I do that?
What a dork.
Does him wanting to play with us again mean that he's turning into a geek, or we're turning into cool guys?
So, as Mark has referenced, I am a major Spartan, so it pains me to mention another victory for your University of Michigan Wolverines. This time, it's athletic director Ward Emanuel,
Oh, stop it.
who received a prestigious award
Such a dick.
for athletic directors. Tony Garcia, the superlative Wolverines beat writer for the Detroit Free Press, says a national championship trophy isn't the only hardware coming to Ward Emanuel's office. Last Tuesday, Emanuel's announced as a 2024...
You keep calling him Emmanuel?
What is it?
Manual.
Oh, what, manual? Oh, okay. I added the E for excellence. On Tuesday, Manuel...
Also, it's the Donald R. Shepard Director of Athletics.
Oh, old Shep. Okay, there we go. Was announced as a 2024...
Said no one ever outside of a press release.
And I just found out Michigan State's head coach has some stupid sponsorship
For a
thing.
long time they have.
Yeah, I don't know who it is, but it's...
Mel Tucker.
You got to make news for anyone to know.
yeah, it's... Wait a minute. Michigan State football head coaches make a lot of news.
That's interesting.
None of it for the
I
good
never
reason.
saw the name endowed in the releases about Mel Tucker, though. It's interesting.
Because we have some pride. The 2024 NFF John L. Toner Award goes to Manuel, recognizing athletic directors who have demonstrated superior administrative abilities and shown outstanding dedication to college athletics, particularly college football. Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petiti announced the Michigan athletic director as the recipient of the award.
One clown to another.
Given by the National Football Foundation
what are we doing here, by the way?
and College Hall of Fame.
He's trying to take a shot at Michigan.
To Big Ten Media Days in Indianapolis.
The problem is a lot of Michigan fans don't like Ward Manuel
Is this
either.
a segment?
Manuel was named, stick with it, son, was named the 12th athletic director in UM history in January and has since compiled a 782 winning percentage across his programs. He's also seen a college basketball player wreck his family car, his basketball coach punch another coach, another guy drive 95 miles an hour down the street with a gun in his car, a guy cheat.
Going 95? What are you talking about?
Okay, 55, whatever, in a 25.
It's a neighborhood.
He's seen his head coach suspended twice
you liked
in the
facts.
same season, and now
he suspended him. He didn't get him suspended. He suspended him.
But he was going to challenge
And
it in court.
And he fired
They were going to fight it till the last minute, and then they gave up because they knew they were going to lose.
No, because of the whole Chris Partridge situation.
And then he has kind of buried the Dr. Anderson, and now.
Buried the Dr. Anderson. Yeah, that thing got buried already.
He had a lying hockey coach he had to fire.
He failed.
He had a lying hockey coach he had to fire.
You're putting me in a weird position because I don't want to defend him. I don't like him. I think he's made a lot of mistakes.
Wait till you hear our Geek of the Week is. It's not Ward Manuel.
Oh, okay.
And then
why are you talking about Ward?
Now the latest is he has a soccer coach who turns out may be a creeper. But for looking at all this, or perhaps ignoring all of this, and singling out Ward Manuel for excellence, the NFF John L. Toner Award judges you are my Geek of the Week.
You're the worst.
Hey, guys.
There's an all-night party in room 7609. And you can dance together all night if you've got the time.
You set him up, you knock him down. It's a beautiful thing.
Mark, do you think if I became a Patreon subscriber that I could skip the Geek of the Week and the reads and what we're
No,
about
you
to
can
do
never
with-
skip the reads.
and what
Come
we're
on.
about to do with the music?
I think, Sean, you could be a patronizing supporter of the show.
Never has someone been on a show they've hated more than Sean.
I love you.
Which show were you on that you hated more?
I love Mike too.
Carlos and
This one
Sean.
or Carlos and Sean?
That's self-loathing because his name's on it. It's like, yeah, why don't we just call it Carlos and that other guy who really doesn't matter because he's just, he's just
Totally true.
just trying to make sense of a
It's totally true.
complicated
So that's totally true. Unlike
Now,
Mike.
did you
earlier,
introduce yourself to Dan Campbell and say, "I'm an insignificant blob. I'm just a stain on the face of the earth. I just am here to."
I am, as Frank Langella said in Dave.
Jesus Christ.
Here comes a deep cut.
I know what.
A blip. A lint.
What if there was
nothing?
What if there was a Freaky Friday moment and there was like a flash of lightning and Shawn and Hulk Hogan changed bodies?
Oh, boy.
And Shawn ripped to Dan Campbell and said, "I'm going to write a column that's going to tell the whole world what's really going on. And you think you know? Well, I'm here to tell you something, buddy. I'm here to show you what's really going to happen in the Detroit Free Press. $1 for 6 months. It's the best dollar you ever spent. You're never going to spend $1 better than that. I know you want to show me some good. I'll tell you." And then he starts ripping his ML Solar Detroit hoodie in half. That would be kind
He's
of
going
cool.
to back away from the mic when he does it, though?
He'll be rubbing
So he
the
doesn't
mic.
overmodulate?
Yeah.
No, I felt.
what, did I overmodulate?
I felt the spittle over here.
And then Hulk Hogan would be, "I don't know, brother. I don't think I'm that great at anything, brother.
What if Dan Campbell?
I've been taking my vitamins and praying and saying my prayers, and I just suck."
What if Dan Campbell and Shawn switched just before the Super Bowl? Hey guys, I don't know. We really don't want to beat these other guys. They're good people. They got families. they want happiness. They deserve joy the same as you. So if you guys want to go out there, it's up to you. I'm not saying you have to go play, but if you want to go out there, it's I'll hold the door for you and just let's just try and remember
That's
to
actually
love
not,
everybody.
That's actually the one time. That's not how I coached. That was the one place.
Wait, you coached?
Yeah, that's the one place I had some energy.
What'd you coach? Basketball?
Yeah, and I saw Dane Fife. Do you guys remember Dane Fife?
I remember Dane Fife.
Black Sox.
My team was at a tournament in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Dane Fife was there recruiting.
This is room 7609 where we talk about New Wave.
Xavier Tillman.
God
You guys
forbid.
remember Xavier Tillman? He was playing in the court next to my team. And after the game, it was the Sunday, so it was a title game, and we won. And so my team's carrying this big trophy. And he's like, yeah, but that's in the silver level. We're in the gold level. And I said, you know what? That's fine. I'm still a better coach than you are a writer.
Whoa. That's a cheap shot.
Damn, Shawn.
He was taking shots at the trophy my team had just won,
Yeah.
So, Brian, I had kids that
Did
were...
the trophy say participant on it?
D2 level, D3, junior college, those would be the coaches. My son was a pretty good player. And it was really, really fun. And it was... to this day, the most fun thing I ever did was
that's a really nice story. I like that story. I can't believe that ML wanted to move on to the song after he did 5 minutes of a Hulk Hogan impersonation.
I thought it was a pretty good impersonation.
And some...
Not as good as my Bernie Sanders last week.
Long, rambling bullshit about Ward Manual. What the fuck was that?
Tony Garcia wrote it. I thought, if you don't respect Tony's work...
I gotcha.
If you want to know something about podcasting, he does a Wolverine.
I don't normally say things like that to coaches, but I couldn't. He loved to give you shit. That was his nature. So,
this week's entry in room 7609 comes from DJ Weiser. He says, enjoying all the great shows of late. It'd be cool to see Erica Erickson be a co-host like once a month. But here's something from Extreme about another bunch of beautiful girls.
No, thank you.
Beautiful girls all around the world. There are so many beautiful, beautiful girls. Pack my bags, hit the road, gonna search the world. On a mission, I gotta find the perfect girl. Lighting up in Rome, well, she could be in Tokyo. Touching down, hit the ground, gonna hit the beach. Before the sun had a chance to really burn our feet. My goddess in the sun, could she really be the one? All around the world, all around the world, there are so many beautiful girls. Yeah. All around the world, all around the world, there are so many beautiful, beautiful girls. Hey, hey, hey! California girls, I wish they all could be. Maybe New York City when she first kissed me. A million miles I'll run over the moon under the sun. All my life I've been searching for you. Where you been? Come a little closer, baby. So raise your drink up. Here's to all the women around the world. All around the world, all around the world, there are so many beautiful girls. All around the world, all around the world, there are so many beautiful, beautiful girls. All around the world, all around the world, there are so many beautiful girls. There are so many, so many, so many beautiful girls. There are so many beautiful, beautiful girls. Too many girls, too little time. How do I know which one to make mine? Small town, beautiful butterfly. Other girls out there will make a man cry. Porcelain, Newbie and Queens, and all the pretty pigments in between. Kittens, cougars, southern bells. Beautiful girls rock my world. Shapes, sizes, chocolate curves. Brunettes, redheads, strawberry blondes. Know what I do if I had a magic wand, I'd wave it. Have my wish come true. Wake up every day, me next to you. You and I soaking up the sunshine, baby, in no time. Maybe you could be mine. All around the world, all around the world, there are so many beautiful girls. All around the world, all around the world, there are so many beautiful, beautiful girls. All around the world, all around the world, there are so many beautiful girls. There are so many, so many, so many beautiful girls. There are so many beautiful, beautiful girls. I've been searching all around. I've been
DJ Weiser sends us a little story about this song that for once
Please, because that song was terrible.
isn't ponderous.
Sorry, DJ.
He says, I'm a fan of Extreme. I loved Gary and Van Halen. I know it was like 5 fans in the world that love their record.
Yeah, pretty much.
Extreme put out a new record last year. Normal Extreme music, but last track on the record, to me, is a gem. Totally different sound. A fan of all music, jazz, blues, ska, metal, etc. This song called Beautiful Girls. It has reggae to rock song vibes. If you play, you wouldn't know it was Extreme. I would love to know if Marc or Shawn could guess the artist. Oops, sorry, I gave that away.
I never would have guessed Extreme. Never. Brian, you said the same thing, right? You felt that it didn't sound like Sharon and Betancourt.
No, it didn't sound like I recognized him on the video, but I would have never, ever guessed that was Extreme.
And if you are a Patreon subscriber for as little as $5 a month, you can watch the video along with us. DJ says, the band knows this is a great song. Enjoy it. Let me know your thoughts. I know Shawn will not like it. He didn't like my last song, and he says, Shawn, talk is cheap. So DJ Weiser throwing down the gauntlet.
What was the last song?
The DJ Weiser?
Yeah. Do you remember? You got a good memory for stuff like that.
It was a good song. I don't remember.
I'm sure I liked the DJ. And if I didn't, it was just probably that day. But this one, no, never.
Yeah, because normally you're so enthusiastic about our musical selections. So it must have been an anomaly.
Mark, you're a Sammy Hagar Van Halen fan?
Well, I like Roth better than Hagar, but yeah. Love Van Halen. Why?
No, with Sammy Hagar, you loved him?
Oh, they were okay with Sammy Hagar, but I really loved him with David Lee Roth. Why? Well, I feel like I'm being set up. I don't know what it is.
Just curious.
Yeah. Why are you surprised by that?
So for those of you...
I'm not surprised at all. No.
For those of you who are like me, I just learned... I mean, if you're like me, you just learned that the guy in Extreme was the 3rd lead singer for Van Halen. I did not know that.
Really?
No, I didn't know that.
Do you not like Van Halen?
I do not like Van Halen.
Do you think Sammy Hagar would have sounded good with the Smiths?
I don't think so.
Why don't you like Van Halen?
But I do think that the Lions should play Sheila Take a Bow by the Smiths as before their games, because I think she did turn around the Lions. And if she'd been in charge instead of her dad, I might have been a fan.
So you're one of those. Why don't you like Van Halen? I want you to answer that question.
I know. He's going to deprive himself.
I just am not a big fan of that.
You don't like Fun?
I do like Fun, but Panama, one of the worst songs ever. Jump.
I know why.
Stupid.
I know why.
Yeah, those two aren't the best, but
Hot for Teachers kind of
fucking
entertaining.
Great. Unchained.
Some of their other stuff is okay.
They're Beautiful Girls.
Unchained is actually...
I like Valerie Bertinelli more than I like Van Halen.
Unchained is an okay song. I like the Hagar Van Halen song. It's kind of... was it Best of Both Worlds? No.
Yeah, that's a good... No, don't get me wrong.
Is that
yes,
that one. That's good. I like that song.
I'm not... Don't get me wrong.
No, Van Halen.
I still love Van Halen with Hagar, and they're coming, and I kind of want to see it because he's doing the whole... He's doing
look,
everything
I understand
for the
why
catalog.
Mike says that. It's like my kids would listen to Van Halen, it makes their ears bleed, right? I mean, they're like, oh my God, this is awful.
My 6-year-old loves Van Roth. My
I don't
6-year-old
hate
digs it.
I don't hate Van Halen, but at the time they came
Journey.
out,
I mean, all those bands are
Journey
terrible.
sucks, but whatever.
they were like a more talented hair metal band to me. I liked much harder metal. I liked Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Ronnie James Dio.
You got another thing
That
coming,
was the
sir.
That is even more confusing.
Deep Purple.
That's more confusing.
I like
Deep
real
Purple.
metal.
No, Deep
and
Purple,
these guys,
Black Sabbath?
Oh, Ian Lord on keyboard, Deep Purple. You never hear anybody. Deep Purple without the keys is nothing. But anyway,
I mean, Mike's right, Mark. Right? That's actually music.
they felt like metal pop. They felt like a boy band. They were a 1980s metal boy band.
I have no problem. I like them. I like them.
I
can't believe you would like those bands and not like Van Halen.
I didn't like Def Leppard either.
I bet you didn't like Bon Jovi either, did you?
You know what Ron Swanson, why he doesn't like skim milk? Because it's milk lying about me being milk. The reason
Van Halen's not a rock band?
The reason I didn't like Van Halen and Def Leppard is because they were lying about being metal bands.
What about Bon Jovi?
Wait a sec. I don't ever remember them walking around going, we're so metal. No, they just played rock music. They played really great, fun rock music.
They were kind of a blow-dry band, and but Mike's right? A little bit of light, kind of a light.
Eddie Van Halen is one of, if not the best guitarist of all time.
What?
Period. Brian, your guitarist. Help me
What
out.
about Anders Segovia?
Let the guitarist in the room speak.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
I would certainly have Eddie. Probably Eddie. For me, it's Eddie and Jimi Hendrix, and then everybody else. I mean, no, you should. ML, you should like Def Leppard though, because they're considered new wave of British metal. So,
I bet your drummer could beat their drummer with his arm tied behind his back. No, that'd be even fight.
You knew that was coming.
A cheap shot.
That's a even. That's a fair
That's
fight.
two people you've made fun of their.
You said the best guitarist ever?
Eddie? Yeah, I think he's up there. If not the best.
What about Richie Blackmore?
Good. Yeah.
Jesus, I'll take the guitarist from Booker T and the MGs on Green Onions any day. There's no There's no music in his guitar.
In Eddie's?
No.
Oh, you are.
You mentioned who was the other guitar? Jimi
You are
Hendrix.
so
Jimi
wrong.
Hendrix has music in his, and Eddie does not. To me.
Oh, you
Just
need to
me.
expand your catalog. You need to listen to more Eddie stuff.
I have. It's not
Okay.
musical. I don't know. To me, it's like
Brian, help me out. Anything.
He's a rock technician.
music is subjective. I mean, my favorites are
but they're wrong.
Brian May and David Gilmour.
Brian May.
David Gilmour.
There you go.
There you go.
But
There's your pantheon.
He's creating He's creating He's creating something.
Eddie Van Halen, very talented guitar player, no question about it. Just don't like the music that much. Sorry. I like other stuff better. DJ Weiser, how'd you get us into talking about Van Halen?
I don't know. If AI played the guitar, rock guitar, it'd be Eddie Van Halen to me. I mean, it's just he's a technician. Yeah. He's an incredible technician.
And fantastic hair.
But is he a creator?
There's no question.
Yes, he absolutely, especially on the technical side.
That's more of an innovator.
Right? For fuck's sake. Okay.
I'm sorry.
You're the worst.
You know, here's the thing about Van Halen. I'm indifferent to Van Halen. I could
worst.
never see myself getting as upset about them as Mark is. I mean, they
No,
just don't. They
I
don't
just-
evoke that kind of
Why are you-
passion in me.
Why are you upset?
Because I think
I'd rather listen to ZZ Top.
I'm mystified by the bands that Elric likes, and you can like all that. It sounds like you don't like them because you think that they're categorized under metal. And they're
No,
not metal
he
enough
likes.
for
No,
me.
no, I'm just saying.
Think about the bands he likes and what that meant, and,
Yeah, but he just listed
and when they
off
came
Iron
out
Maiden and Judas Priest.
in the '80s. Think
Yeah.
about what those bands represented. They were counterculture bands, right? They were on college radio stations. It was even hard to find that kind of music.
No,
Van Halen were playing in NBA arenas and
'Cause they
football
fucking
stadiums.
rock.
No, but the metal bands I'm talking about, they
The
were in heavy
Church
rotation
weren't.
on AOR radio, or I guess it.
Well, if you're talking about true metal, yeah, but so he
Riff was playing that stuff.
It's his identity in his life and the music he listened to. And Van Halen represented the man, so to speak. You know,
No,
not in a good way.
Van Halen
Back in
doesn't
those
move the
days.
needle for me. All I was trying to say was, at that time, if I wanted to hear some guitar-based driving music, I went harder than Van Halen. I never considered Van Halen a very hard rock, heavy metal type band. That was the music I liked more. And so they were just indifferent.
Why do you put all these bands in boxes?
And yet he
into
didn't
their
listen
genres.
he didn't listen to the Talking Heads, for example.
Yeah.
So
I did listen to the talk, and I listened to Egyptian Lover, and I listened to Houdini. I listened to all kinds of stuff. I did not have time for Van Halen, unless the Electrifying Mojo played them in the Midnight Funk Association, because he might have, because he played everything. He'd go from Prince to maybe Van Halen. I mean,
So you only like a band if it has that blessing.
no, I'm just saying that I never would have gone out of my way to listen to them. I might have heard them if somebody else was playing them.
I think it was their drums too, the way they were mic'd. There was no oomph in them.
In Van Halen,
Van Halen,
Alex.
yeah.
Oh man, I love it.
Didn't they have the little thin octagon?
I love his drumming.
No.
I'm talking about the drumming itself.
You're
I'm
thinking
talking
of
about
Talk.
talking about the sound. It sounded new wavy.
Van Halen?
It was tinny.
Moving on.
No, go listen to the Pixies and the way they sound on the drum, right? That's what I mean.
Okay.
Unless there's any chance whatsoever that your nomination is going to get us talking about Van Halen or Def Leppard or
Do you like Aerosmith?
Yeah, I like Dream On, and I like some of their stuff. I think Aerosmith had a lot more of an
Back on the
edge
saddle.
than Van Halen.
Oh, for sure they did.
Yeah.
Okay.
They sounded like a rock
I like
band.
them both. They both are rock bands.
And that guitar sounded...
Nobody's saying
Joe
Van
Perry?
Halen wasn't a
Think
rock
Joe Perry's
band.
a better guitarist than Eddie Van Halen?
I like the sound of it better.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay.
I'm not saying the notes and how quick he can play and get up and down the scale and whatever.
Okay.
I'm just talking about the way it sounds.
Listen, there's all kinds of. I'm no geologist, but some rocks are so heavy they sink to the bottom, and others float.
Do you like
Van Halen is a lava rock that floats.
Do you like Metallica?
In a pool of mediocrity.
Do you like Metallica?
Even Shawn like that one.
I can't believe this sort of No, but
that's not scripted, because if I ever thought we were talking to Van Halen on this show, I never would have played DJ Weiser's
talking
nomination.
about an era, though, that was.
Mark, you're saying, who do I like? Or,
I
like Metallica. I wouldn't, go out of my way to listen to them, but I like Enter Sandman. I think is a fantastic song.
Early Metallica or later Metallica?
Dude, I don't know the catalog. Okay. I did meet the one dude. I'm such a big fan. Dave, what's his name?
Dave?
Who are the guys in Metallica? Not
Lars?
No, James. I met James.
Oh, really? You met James Hetfield?
At Belle Isle. Yeah, before they did their big thing where they destroyed Belle Isle.
Yeah.
So seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Wait, Mike, so you do like Aerosmith, just to be clear.
Yeah, Aerosmith is okay.
70s Aerosmith or the reunited Aerosmith?
No, the 80s Aerosmith would be Van Halen bad, right?
They're not bad. Neither are bad. I like. You don't like Permanent Vacation or Pump?
You listen to Sweet Emotion is first of all,
Van
Halen never wrote a song anywhere near that cool.
Now I get the question. Yes, I like early Aerosmith better than later. Steven Tyler running around with scarves,
and all that
Aerosmith,
80s,
and
all that 80s, because it sounded
doing
like Def
the Run
Leppard.
DMC thing.
Because it sounded like Def Leppard, right? And all that other.
Hey, they're like everybody. They tried to get James Bond made a blaxploitation movie. Okay? People adjust.
Starship did that shit, right? No, the 80s were bad for a lot of amazing bands in the 70s. That's for sure.
Yeah, everybody tries to do something that's relevant for the times, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes you're like, yeah, no. So, but it doesn't matter. You're free to love whatever music you want. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. They don't do it for me.
You're not trying to convince anybody of anything.
Chaka Khan did okay from the 70s to the 80s.
Okay.
And that song was an 80s song.
Mm-hmm.
With Rufus.
I don't think she had Rufus in the 80s.
Okay, I love Def Leppard. Pour some poison on me. We want to...
Sugar.
If I had a cyanide capsule right now, I'd be biting down on it.
It would have been down on mine a long time ago.
Oh, my God. Donald, next week we will be playing your tune in room 7609. If you'd like to suggest something to us, send a note to mlsoulofdetroit@gmail.com. Give us a nomination, but more importantly, give us a story. And please, whatever you do your best to make sure that doesn't lead back to hair metal bands or pop metal bands.
Why? It's the first interesting conversation we've had in 5 years.
Or Billy Squier. You want to stroke something, do it on your own time. We want to thank those of you who are supporting the show. We want to encourage you to come play Detroit. That is where you can take me on, and that's not an AHA song, at Belle Isle or at Detroit City Fieldhouse. Leagues are forming all the time. Now, it's my choice to play softball and volleyball, but they have kickball, they have sand volleyball, they probably have pickleball, they might even have lawn darts. Go to comeplaydetroit.com and you will find out what they're putting together. Maybe you just are getting in the game yourself. You don't have to have a team. They will find you a team. If you have a small group, they'll help you put a team together. If you have a full team, they can take care of you. Either way, Come Play Detroit's friendly staff will help find the right fit for you. And if you know me, you know I like everything but Van Halen, and a good deal most especially. So go to comeplaydetroit.com and use promo code SOUL when you sign up to get 10% off your first registration. It's a great way to get in the game and to support our show. And if you want to hang out downtown or Corktown or just about anywhere cool, make sure to take advantage of this summer before it goes away and book your tour on Detroit's favorite party bike, the Michigan Peddler. 15 people can enjoy 2 hours touring and pedaling through Corktown, Midtown, and downtown, stopping for pictures and perhaps a distilled or hopped beverage or two. The Michigan Peddler offers the longest tours in Detroit. It has seat backs so you can sit comfortably and the friendliest staff to make your ride one to remember. Book your tour at MichiganPeddler.com. That's MichiganPeddler.com. MichiganPedler.com. That's Michigan, PEDALER.com. And if you can't spell it, don't worry about it. We'll have a link to their website on our website, which is MLSoulofDetroit.com. And as an exclusive offer to Soul of Detroit listeners, if you use promo code MLSoul in the promo code area, you'll get $40 off the price of one of our 15-passenger party bike tours. So please support the show. Get in the game at Come Play Detroit. Book a ride on the Michigan Peddler. Have fun. Save yourself some dough. Now, people who are helping us make a little dough are our Patreon members. And the Soul Patrol is getting bigger. Special thanks to longtime friend and supporter of the show, Chef Dave Hubbard, who became a member of the Soul Patrol.
Dave. Love Dave.
Great man. Rusty Unger joined the Soul Patrol, and Jim O'Donnell signed up. It's really easy, and just $5 a month really helps us out. Jim says, I've enjoyed the show for a long time. I was born and raised in the Detroit area, but I'm living in the Bay Area since 2018. This show and another podcast out of the same studio, I wonder which one that is, are my lifelines to my roots. I got laid off and was unemployed for 610 days out here. It was brutal. But I'm back to work full-time, finally, and happy to be financially able to support the shows that have given me so much. Your voices and your personalities are all very much appreciated. You help make sure I never forget where I came from. That's from Jim O'Donnell in San Francisco, who was out of work for 610 days. Some of you mother scratchers have been working every single day, haven't even sent us $5. So,
So attack them.
Take it. Oh, that's not the way to go.
Yeah, and what if they like Van Halen?
Maybe we'll play Van Halen Room 769.
He has a strange code of ethics, this man.
So thank you, Jim. Thank you, Rusty. And thank you, Chef Dave. We really appreciate it. The Soul Patrol is growing, and it's a way to keep this show going. So thank you very much. We'll have a link to our Patreon page at mlsoulofdetroit.com. We got a little feedback here. This one, get the ponderous cue ready. We are going to have something ponderous on the show. Hannah writes, hey, fellas, I wish you'd write a free takedown of this guy, but maybe tomorrow on Soul of Detroit you can talk about the inorganic rise of 39-year-old J.D. Vance. You're all seasoned at sniffing out horse shit, and your bios seem perfect to discuss this creep. Assuming you've read his bullshit bootstrap memoir and maybe watched him speak last week. She sent this last week, so she's thinking about the Republican National Convention 2 weeks ago. I'd love to know if you agree with me. He is a con artist, charlatan, sociopath who has fabricated and exaggerated literally everything about his life. All the memoir dialogue is so comically fake, and none of his grim poverty claims add up. Yet he was propped up by the media, and his corny memoir got a $40 million movie deal. I think Mark grew up in Ohio. Middleton, the town Vance grew up in and describes as some hellscape, is a perfectly normal and safe middle-class suburb,
It's a
right?
suburb of Dayton, I believe. Yeah.
Mark, is this true?
I don't know that area. I don't know that area very well.
Because you were afraid to go there?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, damn.
But I haven't read his memoir either.
Okay. Hannah says, it seems comparable to Madison Heights outside of Detroit. JD's mom was a college-educated nurse and salutatorian. I guess if I was the valedictorian, I'd know how to say that. Salutatorian? Whatever. Of her high school class. I grew up in the impoverished suburban hell known as Grosse Pointe, where we were all gathering coal to keep our homes warm. I can relate. His stepdad, who adopted him at age 6, was a CDL truck driver. JD's grandpa was a retired union official. JD's memoir says grandpa would casually buy new cars, convertible Chevys to Oldsmobiles to Buicks. Since when is that bottom rung poverty? He enlisted in the military right after high school, something he brags about constantly. What he doesn't brag about is that he was on a desk in public affairs taking photos and writing stories. Do we know, is that true?
I did not know that.
Okay. Not risking his life, flying a plane like Sean's dad, or on the front, Belvin, or wearing an open-face kimono, or on the front lines during a hot Middle East war where actual white trash hillbillies were dying and getting maimed.
He still served, though.
And they could have sent him anywhere.
Yeah.
He sounds like an elbowy conniver who knew checking a box for the military was the way to rise fast in politics. What did he major in at the Ohio State University? Political science. Interned for politicians. He doesn't mention a single girlfriend in his memoir. two creepy pseudo-famous married Yale Law School professors set him up with his now wife. So he would have
that
been...
story is bizarre. The
really?
setup
What
with
is
his
it?
wife. Well, I mean,
she's pretty
keep
good-looking
going.
and
Just
successful.
Just go on with it. No, she's very pretty.
Those professors have... I'm not sure her parents could have got into the country if he was vice president back then, but...
She was a Supreme Court law clerk, too, I believe.
For John Roberts, and then
what it was?
later clerked for... in fact, I read that she was being considered by like Scalia and somebody else. So, I mean, she must have really...
Whatever.
She must have been pretty conservative to appeal to those guys, but must have been pretty highly recruited. And I think one of J.D. Vance's text messages or somewhere he wrote that, Scalia's too out there for her. But now I think he'd probably say otherwise. And his text messages have certainly presented a different view of the world than the one that he's espousing these days, as the New York Times has reported. But let me back up. So he would have been 25 or 26 when he was introduced to his future wife. And the man he seeks out to work for and mentor him is a gay California billionaire, Peter Thiel. Peter becomes his career and political benefactor. Peter is married to a man, but keeps young boyfriends as well, one of which committed suicide last year. And there's a link to a Daily Beast story.
You do have the power to edit.
I know. I was gonna say,
Well,
I think we get the point.
This is getting, like I said, I told you it's going to be ponderous. This is a young conservative leader's closest confidant and mentor. He marries in a Hindu ceremony. Then before he runs for U.S. Senate, he allegedly converts to Catholicism, but not his wife and not his kids. And when did ML start going by ML? Now, here's the part where Sean's like, I'm glad you get into this part.
You burnt my ears up.
J.D. Vance isn't even his real name. He changed his name after law school. His name through K through 12, military, Ohio State, and Yale Law School was James Hamill. Do we know that?
Yeah, that's been out there too.
Mark, you are a treasure trove of information.
I read stuff.
Do you narc on everybody from Ohio? Lastly, here's the part
Brian's
Sean likes.
nodding.
Lastly, he's such a transparent elitist and despises the flyover state people he grew up around with so much hate. He moved to California after law.
I do find him
school
to be. I mean, I don't know that much about him, but I do find him to be a little bit of a phony. You know, he could because of Yale Law School, venture capitalist, doesn't really scream hillbilly elegy, but whatever. I think most politicians are phony. So
yeah, but there are people who come up from poverty who become very wealthy, and I think
sure, and he did.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fact that you ended up making a lot of money doesn't mean that you didn't start out poor. And I'm not weighing in on. Listen, I'm agnostic on politics on this show. We try not to take sides here. Hannah, and if somebody had written us a letter taking a crap on Harris or Biden, we would have read that too. Hannah's on the home stretch here.
Oh my God, you're still reading it?
After he won the Ohio Senate seat,
you have the ability to edit.
He moved his. But if I had edited, we wouldn't have got the part where she takes a shot at me for using initials. And which I know was Sean's favorite part.
No, it wasn't.
He moved his family
I don't want anybody to hurt you.
Sean's favorite part is the end, which we're getting to if people stop interrupting. He moved his family to Washington, D.C. Ohio's junior senator hasn't lived in flyover country since he was a student at Ohio State nearly 20 years ago. All the best, Hannah. So here's where I'm going to weigh in on something. Because
just say thank you, Hannah.
Can't I live my life, Sean?
Are you going to talk about him and couches now?
I don't even want to hear about that.
The cats or whatever.
I've read a couple things.
The couch thing is hilarious.
Here's something about J.D. Vance that we see a lot in Senate races. There are a lot of people who are moving to places, establishing residency, and then claiming that they are the best person to represent that state.
Carpetbaggers. Happens all the time.
Yeah, and it happens in both parties. I do kind of have a problem with that. And it does feel to me like it tends to be rich people, and they are kind of buying that seat. But other than that...
to find out that some states, you don't even have to live in the district to represent them is laughable.
As a member of Congress, you don't have to live in the district. You just have to live in the state. But as a senator, obviously, you have to live in the state.
It's ridiculous.
So Hannah, thank you for your email, all of it. Sean hated some of it, apparently.
No, thank you.
And
I do want to go back to JD though, because I want to bring up this couch thing that I referenced.
By the way, it's JD, no periods. I'm M period, L period.
There is a journalistic aspect to. Do you know the couch story at all? Anybody here?
So based on what I've seen on social media, it involves couch cushions, a latex glove, and maybe somebody satisfying their lust.
It started with a tweet, and the person who tweeted it out said that, J.D. Vance had sex with a rubber glove and stuck between two couch cushions. He wrote about it in Hillbilly Elegy and gave page numbers, and people ran with it. Totally not true. Not in the book at all.
Okay.
But I think it got new life because the Associated Press actually wrote an article that said, no, J.D. Vance did not have sex with a couch, to which they then yanked down. Do you know why they took it off the website?
Sounds like somebody else was yanking down.
Sean, why do you think they took it off the website?
I don't know.
Because it didn't reach their journalistic standards because they could not definitively prove that he's never had sex with a couch, right? The headline should have been, no, J.D. Vance did not write about having sex with a couch in his book. But since they took it down, then it got second life.
But it's believable
on the internet. And it had, it's just the memes have really taken over. And he still has not denied it. He hasn't come out and referenced it. And
Sean,
said, no, I've never had sex with a couch.
I mean, I knew somebody in college that it wasn't a couch, but he'd put a potato between a box spring and a mattress.
Here we go. What?
This is
what?
Let me guess. This is a friend of yours, but not you.
No, it wasn't me. No, I've never forgotten that though. That's
what?
That's a fairly elaborate
potato?
way. No, that's a really elaborate way to masturbate. I have not. I've never forgotten that. The best part was when I heard the stories that he would lightly warm the potato up to make it warm. And that he preferred, along with the potato, he preferred the J.C. Penney catalog.
Sean, when it comes to editing portions of the show, maybe...
That's the best part. What are you talking about? I want more of the stories about this guy.
Here's the real tragic part. Sean only found out about this after they had potato bar night in the dorm.
Oh, what's
with this
warm
butter?
The potato up a little bit. Always
Sean, you want to come tell stories on Friday at the Magic Bag?
Sure. Exactly. I mean, how can you not forget that?
Well, I hope that guy doesn't run for political office.
The J.C. Penney's a great deal. He was a really smart guy. He's a PhD, something.
Innovator.
Yeah.
Estimatorian.
But you know how, when you're that age, when you're 19, 20, 21, 22, yeah, you don't, you'll say shit. Especially if you're sitting around on the floor on a carpet getting high, right? You'll share
now
that
you know
kind of
why I love the story so much, because the jokes online have been pretty creative and pretty funny.
You know what else? Because it's not unbelievable. I mean, that's the other thing, right? It's not so crazy that people would say. It's not. Everybody has something they probably would never want to get out there that they did when they were 17 or whatever.
It all started from
or 14, right?
But are you surprised that the Associated Press wrote an article about it?
I'm glad they did, because I heard that some late night talk show host said, thanks to J.D. Vance, I'll never look at a couch the same way again. I thought this was in his book. So I'm glad that they've debunked that. I mean, it's kind of like a Snopes moment, right? Where there's an urban myth, and the AP has come out and said...
But they made it worse because
like the Rod Stewart myth.
Because they said, well, we can't prove that he's never had sex.
Well, the AP's never debunked that.
It was a bad headline.
No, I always used to wonder how the hell that stuff got started.
Which one, Rod Stewart?
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
Or Richard Gere.
Who was the one with the gerbils? Was that Richard Gere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so when I was in
put the cocaine on the claws so it wouldn't numb them up.
In Allentown, when I was an intern at the Allentown Morning Call in 1989, and Allentown's about an hour from Philadelphia or so we're kind of in that market. There was a local anchorman named Jerry Penacoli. He ended up going to Inside Edition or something later on. Somebody had started a gerbil rumor about him, and when Jerry Penacoli would come on the news in bars, people would start squeaking like gerbils. I'm like, how do you survive something like that? When you're like, today in Quakertown, a family of 3 was murdered, and people are going, wait. I mean, that's got to destroy. Now, your Q rating probably goes through the roof, but it's got to destroy your credibility. But he survived.
We had Rachel Hunter in studio probably... Well, she was still married to Rod Stewart because they got divorced. Yeah, so it would have been around 98, 99. And Drew flat out asked her if he knows about the whole, urban legend about him getting it was him that got his stomach pumped, right?
It was Stewart.
David Bowie supposedly was the The donor.
We've heard the USC football team. I mean, there's been a whole
The donor.
But
No, they did Tusk.
Rachel,
that was the marching band. Sorry.
Rachel
That was
Hunter
Fleetwood Mac.
admitted that. Yeah,
I get it all wrong.
He's well aware of the urban legend and kind of laughs at it because what are you going to do? What are you going to do but laugh at it?
They said that to Rachel Hunter.
Yeah, Rachel Hunter admitted that. Yeah,
That's
Rod-
pretty brave
Rod knew
because she's
about
like 6'7". She could have kicked Drew's ass.
it. Very beautiful, very nice lady.
I
liked her.
think she's just a
But
good
wouldn't
person.
JD Vance come out and go, "No, I did not have sex with the couch," but he won't even confirm that.
Well, he
Should just
confirmed he
come out
likes
and say,
cats.
He did. So what? It's nobody's business.
God, these people sending us notes are taking the show in crazy directions. We should probably stop sharing feedback and asking people to nominate songs for Room 7609. But
Sorry that we had fun.
as Sean would say, it's all right with him.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Do the mashed potato?
Yeah.
Do the twist? Oh. No? Okay. Brian, catch the common score. Yeah,
Great segue.
Yes,
Thank you.
That was really
Appreciate
bad.
that.
Brian is very happy to be linked to masturbating into a potato,
Very patient.
which is something else Don Cummings does when he's not bending iron bar. No, different Don Cummings. I'm sorry. That was maybe Burton Cummings. You can catch the Common Scolds at the Magic Bag on Friday, raising money for a great cause. And on Saturday, come check out the Smiths United at the Caju Cafe. That's August 2nd. Go to Magic Bag. August 3rd, Caju Cafe. And I may see you both nights. If not, I'm sure I'm going to see you on one of those nights.
I will definitely be there Friday night.
Okay. And should I bring you some French fries? Just for some ass play?
Oh God.
Okay, sorry. We probably should have. We probably should have gone. We probably should have gone to Cyrus a couple minutes earlier. But shoestring, or do you like the steak cut? No. Okay. Cyrus.
Are you finished? Come on. Like that guy with his potato. Are you finished?
Thank you for having me on.
And it brings a whole new meaning to sour. Okay, we're just gonna go now. Cyrus, take us out. But we'll be back next week.
Can you dig that?
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
The New York Times calls it rousing and invigorating. ABC TV says you'll be riveted, enthralled, and you'll cheer like crazy. It's for everyone, says Newsweek. And the New York Daily News promises it will lift your spirits to a new high.
The soul of Detroit.